It's not in the cards for you. I'm pretty good at insults, and I got the internet and a lot of free time.
Okay, we got 3 signs, and then Lucas will take it over talking. Gen Z women, age phobia against dating Gen X men will unfortunately cause your baby's DNA to suffer due to less telomerase and less healthy children. Your babies will suffer because of less healthy children. Fuck them sick kids, right? I'm actually surprised he used the apostrophe correctly in babies. That's impressive. I was expecting worse. I love that we're back to like 2015, 2016 era Lucas here. He's looking rough. Come on, let's keep it going, keep it going. Oh no, I hate the terms of endearment. Baby, honey, darling. Want to share a charcuterie board with me? Baby, honey, darling, lover, charcuterie with me. What the fuck? That's not a verb, dude. It's not a verb. Do you think he even knows what a charcuterie board is? Or do you think he's just like seeing pictures of it on Instagram and thinks it's something he can make with food bank scraps? At least his hair looks clean. Stop that staring, it's creepy. Crossword puzzles. If you're not going to date us because we're atheist, I don't find Christians or theists particularly loving, despite what they preach. I cannot read what's scribbled out. I'd rather date a kind atheist chick if you're going to be hateful. Who is he talking to? Like, is he just talking to an imaginary Christian woman in his head, or did someone tell him off and he assumed they're Christian? Like, what? I'm sure it's just an argument in the head with an imaginary woman. Okay, this is the last sign. Lucas is going to take over talking from here. Enjoy that.
Got 5 pounds of cheese from the food bank and I'm just sharing it with people. Pepperoni and Chex Mix. And a whole bunch of other shit.
I don't find theist chicks to be particularly loving and kind. I find atheist chicks to be loving and kind. But I don't see Christians actually following Christianity. You know what I mean? I don't see Muslims actually following Islam. At least the loving and kind bits that they preach. They follow the warlike bits that they don't preach. And sometimes they do preach those warlike bits, and then they act in that warlike way. But they are not a loving part of this species. They really aren't. Theists are not loving. Atheists are. Atheists will date outside of atheism, but people with a higher power usually don't date people without a higher power because you're bigots. And I'm going to say that you're bigots until you're dating me. I haven't had a girlfriend in 14 years. I would much rather date a kind atheist than a kind Christian, because a kind Christian is still going to be shoving religion down my fucking throat, and I'm not going to be able to stand it. Or you're going to say that you're a racist and you're okay with being a racist. I definitely won't date a Trump supporter, that's for sure. Some of you are not so genuine and will date Trump supporters for some dumb, woebegone reason. But I won't, for whatever reason. I don't care how hot you are or how nice you are to me. You are a Trump supporter and you are bad news. But I don't find Christians particularly kind anyway. They're not dating me, are they? They just skip around to some other guy. People with a higher power, you think you're so special? You're not. You're hateful. You're not dating me, so you're hateful. I don't fucking care. Your haters, go away. Fuck you, fucking bigots. Or is it more APRO protocol, you bitches? Because you're both. A bunch of bitch-ass fucking hater fucking bigots. You should shut the fuck up and just date me. Suck up your pride. You think I shouldn't bash you, but you're bashing me by not dating me. Go fuck yourself and date me, or go the fuck away. Prove your kindness. Prove your love. Prove you're willing to be open-minded by dating me, my atheist ass. Whether you're an atheist or a theist. But don't shove religion down my throat, or I'm going to shove atheism and science down your throat, which is a lot more enlightening and a lot more entertaining anyway. So you're just going to have to fucking deal with it. If you're going to preach, I'm going to preach back. That's only fair. So then, if we're not mistaken then, the highest point of telomerase in the ova is when she's between the ages of 18 and 25, correct? And telomerase is when you would want to have a baby because it creates a healthier baby and a longer living baby and more intelligent baby if the woman is between 18 and 25, correct? So then we know this thing about middle-aged men. I'm a middle-aged man, I'm 45, between the mid to late 30s to mid 50s confer the most telomerase, and we just had this whole sidebar conversation about telomerase in the ova. Wouldn't that mean that age proximate relationships cause less telomerase in the baby? Wouldn't that mean less health, less longevity, and less intelligence in the baby? So why isn't it a crime to date age proximately? I don't understand why it's not a crime to date age proximus, knowing these facts. And why wouldn't it be illegal for somebody under the age of 35 and a male to have a baby if it confers less telomerase? And why wouldn't it be illegal for someone over the age of 25 to have a baby if they're female? Because it confers less telomerase. So why not combine, let's say eugenically? I know that's a bit controversial, but interracial relationships confer the most telomerase within race relationships. Does this confer more telomerase than interracial relationships? Because then why not also go interracial with it? I'm German and Irish, so if you're not German and Irish. But then again, the older, it's not illegal, so fuck it, right? If you're German, I'll date you. If you're Irish, I'll date you. But what I'm saying is I'm open to interracial relationships because it confers more telomerase in the baby. And I'm open to age gap relationships where the woman is younger because it confers more telomerase in the baby. So wouldn't that be the relationship that you should go after the most? DDLG type of relationship, but not role-playing sexually. Actually, you know, you call me daddy or honey and baby, and I call you honey and baby, and we're in an actual relationship. Wouldn't that be like the Gen X male in 2025 with the Gen Z female in 2025? 18 to 25, 35-ish to 45, 55, no, 55-ish. But I'm right in the middle. So wouldn't that mean that I'm at that plateau point? I'm at the highest point? Or is it 55 that's the highest point? Either way, wouldn't you want to date an older man just to have a baby? I mean, think about it. You got to have, like, other qualities as well, and I'm pretty good at speaking. And I think with some women, gift giving is their love language. Material possession, wealth. If you give them something of material value every day, whether it's a cigarette or a chocolate chip cookie or diamonds or money or something, then they're willing to stay in the relationship. And that's not really socialism, because you're ignoring the guy that doesn't have the money or the power to make that sort of thing happen every day. because he's got his own life to live. I'm a guy that likes to give gifts, but not every day. I won't sit out there and smoke a cigarette with you because I don't smoke cigarettes. But I notice that sometimes women will want gifts every day, whether it's weed or a pop or something, especially at this low economic level where most of us only get like $100 a month to spend freely after our bills are paid. That puts a little bit of a hinder on a relationship. But then again, you look at Gen Z and most of them are socialist. You look at the studies, blah, 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 you look at the articles, and most of them didn't vote because of socialism. A lot of them didn't want Trump, and so they voted for Kamala, and how can you blame them? But a lot of them just didn't vote because they're leftist and they don't like the corporate regime. Well, that's good and fair, but if you support capitalism, you're not really my type of chip, because capitalism has killed 2 billion people in the last 100 years, while socialism has killed about 100 million. So, yeah. Not really my type of chick if you need material possession every day. Get a job, slacker. Prove you're strong and independent. Get a job. Would I date someone with more money than me and expect gifts? No. Would I date somebody with more money than me? Yeah. Because I don't want to give you material possessions every 2 seconds in order for you to stay in the relationship with me. I'm a socialist. I don't think that's morally right. Believe it or not, I don't give a fuck what you believe. I've met socialist atheists that don't like age gap relationships, especially when the man is older, because they deem it as predatorial. But they don't ever say anything about the women that are older dating younger men as being predatorial. They just hate men because they're a bunch of wokey libtard idiots that are just as bad as the maggot Republicans that support Trump. They're bigots. You are bigots. Shut your little chihuahua mouths. Your bark is worse than your bite, chihuahua. Shut your bigot mouth up. Bitches. You know, when you say something like, oh, it couldn't have happened to a better guy, and that guy is a Trump supporter, you're a piece of shit. You know that? You're a piece of shit. Trump is not it. You know what I mean? He's anti-gay, he's anti-woman, he's anti-poor, and you support him because you're a bitch. Don't tell me that something happened because he's a better guy. Don't riddle me with that gaslighting fucking nonsense. That is bullshit. You don't even follow the real news. You follow an entertainment section called Fox News. You are retarded. And you're a bigot. Go fuck yourself, bigots. But if you support Democrats, you don't exactly support a party either that supports housing the homeless and feeding the poor. For that, you're going to have to move on to socialism, which I am. And if you support socialism and you won't date me because of my net worth or my weight, you're a bigot. But doesn't that not jibe well with your leftist views? Huh? Honey? Huh? Baby? Huh? Darling? You have to forgive me, Gen Z, but I know that 50% of you, it's actually more like 51% of you, support socialism, and 2/3 of you would vote for a socialist political candidate if given the opportunity. So you're largely a socialist generation. You're 67% socialist approving. You would vote for a socialist candidate. And that sets my cockles alight because I'm poor. I don't have a lot of money. I live in a group home. So if 50% of you support socialism and 2/3 of you would vote for a socialist candidate, then you really should date me because I'm poor. I live in a group home. If your views on bigotry are against, well then look at the fact that I'm balding in the back of my head. Your age phobia can go fuck itself. Your ageism can go fuck itself. Your bigotry can go fuck itself. Your weightism can go fuck itself. Your racism can go fuck itself. Because I'm also open to non-white girls too. So your bigotry, Gen Z, can go fuck itself. If you're going to be bigots, you're not what I would call the typical Gen Zer. You're some outlier that supports capitalism and bigotry, and I don't want to know you at all. 2/3 of you support socialist political candidates, and half of you support socialism. So I don't want to hear it anymore. Don't make it about my net worth. Don't make it about my weight, because socialism is against bigotry. Don't make it about my personality, because you know my personality is fire. Unless you're one of these maggots or these wokey libtard idiots that are going to judge me based on capitalist viewpoints, my net worth. Your net worth can go fuck itself if you're a bigot, classist, racist, weightist, or an age phobe or an ageist. Your bigotries can go fuck themselves, Gen Z. And everyone. If you're a woman in your early to mid 20s, you really should date middle-aged men. Especially if you're into baby making at some point in your life. I know that might sound a little weird and controversial, but I've been on this for several years. The influx of telomerase within the reproductive transport cells, otherwise known as sperm, if we're being real here, has more telomerase in it, just like your 20-something-year-old eggs. How are you? Can I buy you a drink? I'm not going to go into all this at the bar. I just think that you should stop being bigots, because it's affecting the future of our species because of lack of telomerase within the baby-making cells. I don't think that's fair. Do you think it's fair? Well, 50% of you are socialist. So, of course, you're against bigotry. That would include classism. 2/3 of you would vote for a socialist candidate. So, enough of your materialism and your gift giving from the guy in order to stay in the relationship, because that's not socialism, that's capitalism. You're ignoring the poorer guys to get with a guy with more net worth when it comes to commodity and money, fiat cash, and investments. It's a perfectly logical complaint. Half of you are going to be socialist, and 2/3 of you are going to support socialist candidates. So give me an opportunity. How are you? Can I buy you a drink? The reproductive cells are important when making a baby, are they not? So maybe we should talk about this more. Remember, the one who gave you this information as you're jogging your net worth at them was a guy who was poor, just like the Jesus you ignore. Nice one. Nice one, you contradictory fucks. What's telomerase? Well, telomerase is a little pool of DNA at the end of the strands of the DNA that keeps it from coming unraveled like the tips of a shoelace do. I think those are called dendrites, those little caps at the end of a shoelace, but you know, it's irregardless. What I'm saying is that you get about 80 replications of your DNA within your lifetime on average. And each time there's a replication, a little bit of that telomerase goes away. And once it reaches a certain point, you die. But here's the thing about middle-aged men. If middle-aged men sire children, then it puts more telomerase on the ends of the DNA of their children. And also, if women in their 20s sire children, then it puts more telomerase at the ends of the DNA. Now, no scientific experiment can prove this, but what I'm saying is if you combine two telomerasing individuals together, wouldn't that make the strongest possible DNA in a child? It would seem so, wouldn't it? Interracial seems to create more health, more longevity, and more intelligence in a child. There's a lot of mixed race examples of that. Barack Obama was intelligent. Beyonce has a lot of talent. Tiger Woods has a lot of talent. And these are mixed race individuals, and that puts more telomerase on the ends of the DNA by having mixed race. I don't know why, it just does. So if you're going to have a healthy child, you should get with middle-aged men if you're in your 20s. If you're going to have the healthiest possible child, that is, from my understanding of this. Because even Michio Kaku talks about this, and I think that it might be kind of like the fountain of youth. They say it's not the fountain of youth, but it does confer more health, longevity, and intelligence in your children to have more telomerase on the ends of the DNA. That's indisputable. So it really is the fountain of youth. You're not going to live forever on it, of course, but you are going to live longer than average if your dad was between the ages of 35 and 55 when you were born, and your mom was between the ages of 18 and 25 when you were born. You're going to live longer. You're obviously going to be healthier, and you're going to be more intelligent than average. So if that's you, you might want to realize that the reason that you're you is because of these telomerase individuals that got together. Date me. Date me now. Date me now and forever. Because I think that myself being 45, that puts me at the plateau point like a 21-year-old woman would be at the plateau point of telomerase. And if you want healthy children, well, I'm here. That's if you want. I don't really care. I'll still date you even if you don't want to have children. I'm only going to date Gen Z. I'm only going to date women that are between 18 and 25. It doesn't mean that I'm going to break up with you when you're 26. I'm not Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm saying when the relationship starts, you're between 18 and 25. Because the reproductive system has that telomerase. There's also a sort of a pull. I don't know if that's through the Van der Waals force or what. But there is a sort of pull between middle-aged men and women in their 20s anyway that often gets ignored because of societal reasons. But I think that if you were to swing up and talk to one of these women, you would realize that women hardly ever get approached in public anymore because young men these days are a bunch of pussies. Or they're not. But there's a lot of pussies within the young men range these days that don't approach women in public because they got Tinder. And they can use Tinder, and they can use Bumble, and they can use Hinge. I got no luck on that shit. I got no luck on the internet, because the internet people don't want to date me for some goddamn reason, because I don't have enough money. I got a message the other day from somebody on Tinder that said, "Spoil me, daddy." And she sent the Cash App. No, that's not what we're doing. I'm not a bank, and I'm not your pet.
As an older guy interested in younger males and a libtard or whatever you want to call me,